Hey Michael, I've got a brilliant idea. Let's do a 360 camera award show.
Hey, that's a great idea, Ben.
So you better come on over to Sydney and let's do it.
That's gonna be kind of hard. You know, I have a lot of 360 cameras.
Well, how many cameras do you have right now?
Well, let me see. About 2,384.
Wait, what? How'd you get so many?
Well, Ben, when one 360 camera and another 360 camera love each other, they do we really have to have this conversation now?
Okay, fine. Well, I'll just have to head over there.
That's awesome. So when are you coming?
I'm already here.
Welcome to the first annual 360 Camera Awards by Life in 360 Rumors.
Yeah.
I got my friend Ben Claremont. You guys know
What's
him
up?
from Life in 360.
Yeah.
Probably the most popular all 360 channel.
No, I wouldn't say that, but you can if you want.
You know, 2017 is a really interesting year for 360 cameras, wouldn't you say?
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we started with like one essentially 2 years ago, right? The Theta M15. Now we have this table, and we don't even have all the cameras that have been released, but this is our combined collection. Take a look, admire what we have on show. Yeah, are you impressed? You should be. So we've got all the cameras that we own here, and we want to discuss them and which cameras are the best for us in a number of different brackets. So whether it's price or different uses of them.
We've kind of segmented them into 3 categories based on price. And then for each category, we're going to let you know what we think are the best 360 cameras in that particular category. So we've chosen cameras that are up to, let's say, $300, right? And then let's say $300 to up to $1,000, and anything over $1,000.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, so there are 3 different price brackets, which are the most common ones we get asked about.
Right.
Often people have a budget of up to 300, or you have those people in the middle of the range that actually do want to shoot professional 360 work, that do have a bit more money to spend. There's a few options for you guys, and then there's the higher end stuff. When you might have thousands of dollars to spend on a 360 camera, we want to go through a few of those options as well.
Right.
So why don't we get started?
Great. So the first category is 360 cameras are up to $300. Let's start with the best photo camera for under $300 or up to $300. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, good question. There are many good competitors. Firstly, I'll say a lot of the cameras on this table are now redundant, unfortunately. We just have them here to look pretty. Cameras like this one, the Nano, this one, what's this one called?
Elecam.
Elecam, yeah, forget about it. This one, SJ Cam, LG 360 Cam. A lot of these, we just wouldn't really recommend anymore.
Well, what would you say are like on the short list for photo?
So
up to $300?
yeah, so for me, there are a few on the short list. So the Theta V and the Theta S. The Theta V is slightly better for photo. The Gear 360 still does a good job. For $100 that it's now at.
Yeah, it's like 80 something at Amazon. It's really incredible.
So I would almost give the first award out now to the best camera under $100 to the Gear 360. Would you agree?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, it's not like there are a lot of choices, but I mean, it's surprisingly good because, I mean, if you ask someone like a year ago, like, you know, I want to get 360 camera for $100, no one would treat you seriously. But the Gear 360 2016 is actually really good at 360 photos with like 30 megapixels. It's very detailed. Up to $100, you can't really beat it.
Yeah, agreed. So I just invented a new category and we have a winner, the Gear 360, so yay!
All right.
Well done, the Gear 360. Okay, so back to the original question, the best photo camera under $3. So the cameras for me are...
On the short list.
The short list. So it's hard to go past our friend right here. You guys know that we both know and love that.
I want to hear you pronounce it.
It's the Xiaojing, isn't it? What is it? The Zhou? I don't know. I don't speak Chinese, so I'm not gonna even pretend that I know.
This is Xiaomi.
Yeah, so it just
Xiaomi
delivers
display.
excellent dynamic range, really high resolution. It's an excellent camera all around for video. It's really versatile, and it's consistently under $300, $200 to $300. So without question. Next.
I also like you mentioned a while ago the Theta, and you know even
which Theta?
Actually I like both, but for photo, the way it is right now with the purple fringing, I kind of prefer shooting with the Theta S for photo. And the reason I like the Thetas for photo is because of their exposure control. And even when the original Gear 360 came out, I was still shooting with the Theta for a long time because it was like easy to carry. I mean, the original Gear 360 was kind of like bulky, you know, like I didn't want to, you know, put it in my pocket and look like
like you got a strange bulge coming from your pants.
I mean,
don't want to be ejected from any buildings.
Not with like little kids or anything. But I love the Theta also for photo. And what do you think about the 2017 Gear 360 for photo?
Yeah, I think it's definitely very good. I think it was excellent when it came out, but this industry is just evolving so quickly that it's become a camera of the past already within 6 months.
I mean, it's incredible, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a good camera, no question, and a lot of people are getting their Gear 360 2017 for free with a lot of the Samsung cameras.
Yeah,
so it's a good camera for those
turning
people.
around and flipping them on eBay.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's why the price is so low. You can get one for like $100. I saw one like several, like $100 for a brand new one.
Yeah.
So, but it's time to pick a winner. What do you think?
Okay.
Winner of the best photo camera
under $300. Okay, so for me, my short list is the Xiaomi. I want to say the Insta360 ONE as well, because it does shoot in RAW, and if you can avoid all of the issues with the One, it shoots RAW, so you get a DNG that you can bring into Photoshop and Camera Raw. You can really grade that RAW file and get the most out of it. So I do want to put this on the short list.
Yeah.
Don't know if I would hail it the winner, because you can't see the live view. You need to connect to Bluetooth, so you can't actually see your final exposure while you're shooting unless you're connected to your phone.
Yeah, or if you're really skilled at 360 photos like me, and when you don't rely on live view, then this is for pros like us.
Teach me your ways, master.
No, just kidding. Yeah, but
no, you're not.
Yeah, no, I love, but I love shooting with the Insta360 ONE too for like the raw capability. And even though I tested it, wasn't as sharp as the Xiaomi, but you know, it's still, you have full exposure controls. It's easy to carry. I know you don't like you don't like the cover, right?
Yeah, there's a few things I don't like about it, but it is also still very good at a lot of things.
Sure.
So I would add it to my short list. So for me, the short list under $300 is the Xiaomi, the Insta360 ONE, and Theta S is now about $299 on Amazon. So Theta S as well. I won't say Theta V because that's in the next price range up, but Theta S, Xiaomi, and the One.
Yeah, and I would say Theta SC too, right? Because the Theta SC is practically the same as the Theta S. I think recently they had a firmware update or an app update where they added bracketing and all those features that they took out before, but now it's already there. So I would agree. Those are my choices too for.
Now you have to pick one.
Oh, if I would pick one, I would say Xiaomi. For under $300 for photo, it's not perfect. The stitching, you know, you'll see a little bit of doubling there, but ultimately for great sharpness, consistent sharpness throughout the frame, excellent dynamic range, especially for shadows. My favorite would be the Xiaomi.
Yeah, and I'm also going to award the Xiaomi best photo camera under $300 for some of the reasons Michael mentioned, but also it's a really good all-around camera. What I do like about it and why I've chosen it over the One is that it's portable. You can actually use the tripod underneath and use it in a situation where you don't have to be connected directly to the camera to see what you're looking at. That's huge, and also it's got excellent video, which is how it beats the Theta S. It just makes it an all-around more versatile camera, and a camera you can rely on in the vast majority of situations.
Yes. Gives great segue to our next segment, which is best $300 camera or best
For video.
360 camera up to $300 for video. What do you think, Ben?
Okay, this is interesting. I'm going to start by saying it has to shoot 4K. Anything less won't make the cut. So that instantly cuts out the Theta S and a bunch of these cameras actually. Cameras that came out within the 2016, 2017, early 2017 still weren't all doing 4K. So 4K is essential. The Gear 360 still does do good 360 video, and I still would rely on it if I was going out to shoot. Just want to shoot something where I'm not going to need something like the Verb or the Insta360 Pro, just something basic. For me, the short list is the Gear 360, then the Xiaomi for the reasons we've discussed before. What else?
What about the 2017 Gear 360?
2017.
Yeah, what do you think about the 2017 and 2016? I know you've done a couple of reviews, but yeah.
No, my answer is no, for a few reasons. Firstly, the moving seam line. That's a huge issue. It really is, because whenever something crosses the seam line, there's an auto stitch that tries and adjusts, and it means your footage moves. Also, I found the post workflow was like almost unusable. I swear, I waited a whole day to render like maybe a 10-minute clip from this camera. So for me, that's when I kind of stopped using it, when I realized how hard the post-production workflow was. It still does shoot really good video, and if you do get this camera for free with your Galaxy Note 8, it's still going to be an excellent camera, but for video, I found too many post limitations.
Yeah, that's why you should change from Mac to Windows instead.
No, you shouldn't.
I'm just kidding.
No, you shouldn't. Not going to happen.
But for video, I would say, I actually prefer the old Gear 360 over the 2017 Gear 360 as well, for similar reasons. The stitch line, it's much more stable. My only concern with the original Gear 360 was the flare. You know, with those concentric rings.
Yeah, because the lenses poke out so much.
Yeah, and it's a reflection of these concentric rings around the lens. I think.
Yes, it's because they're so big. Like the sun is always going to hit it, no matter which way you position it. The sun is always going to hit the lens, and it's going to cause a flare. Right. Unless you're in a shadow or indoors, you're not going to get as bad flare. But when you're out in the sun, you're almost always going to get a flare. And also something else to look out for with this one is overheating. Sometimes when it does overheat, the lenses fog up. Yeah. So you've got to be careful.
But the good thing is with 360 videos, you're usually shooting only short clips anyway. So as long as you're mindful of that overheating possibility, it's a good camera. Yeah. And then others on my short list for video, the Xiaomi, up to $300. What else would I pick? You know, the Insta360 ONE is $300, so that would be in that category as well. Yeah, I love the Insta360 ONE, not just for the manual video. It's the only one I know in that price range that has manual video controls. But I also like the free capture capability. It's incredible. Love that. Yeah.
Seriously, if they added free capture to any of these other cameras, that would instantly increase the value of all of them. But since it's exclusive to the One, that increases the value just of the One. Yes, that's one thing Insta360 massively have on their side, is they've got an awesome app, they've got awesome desktop software, and they're awesome free capture ability. Right.
Yeah. Also, another one that I'm very fond of is the Insta360 Air, and although it's only 2.5K, I like it because of the like how quickly you can share photos and videos when you're in social media, and it's stabilized, and the stitching is pretty smooth. So that's something that I would also consider.
Okay, so my finalists are going to be the Gear 360, the Xiaomi, and the One. To me, because these two are recent cameras and they've got a lot of features that a lot of these cameras lack. Things like stabilization is just so crucial for 360 video. Now that I've been exposed to it, I can't live without it. So a camera that doesn't have any kind of stabilization, it's got a massive disadvantage. So for me, ultimately, I'm going to rule this one out because of the issues we've talked about and the lack of stabilization. I've had so many really shaky Gear 360 videos when shooting handheld. So for me, it's between these two.
And for me, image stabilization is so crucial, and especially when if you love to shoot in with an invisible 360 camera effect. And I mean, there's so many uses for stabilization besides just making the video look better. There's so many creative possibilities. So in terms of like picking a winner for this category, wow, it is tough. It is tough. Gosh, between the Xiaomi and the Insta360 ONE.
I think I know.
What I like about the Xiaomi is the image quality, and what I like about the Insta360 ONE is the usability. So it's like a trade-off, like which you prioritize.
And also, another thing to add to the equation is this does live streaming in 360 and in Tiny Planets, so that is a good video feature.
Yeah.
So it is surprisingly close. For both of us, we're feeling like this is a really close decision.
Yeah, I guess, if, gosh, if I could choose only one, I guess I could live without the free capture, just barely, and I would choose the Xiaomi. Yeah, and I would use Insta360 Studio But if you they're both really good. In short, it's like really close.
Yeah,
it's almost a virtual tie.
It is very, very close. I guess it just depends ultimately on your needs. So if free capture and live streaming are important to you, then this will be the winner. If just general usability and the look and the workflow is something that's important to you, the Xiaomi is going to be a better option. For me, I'm going to pick the Xiaomi only because if you're buying one camera, you need to consider all things. And like we just awarded the Xiaomi best photo camera, you need a good photo camera as well as video camera if you are looking at doing both. So for me, I'm happy to use both of them. Personally, if I go out shooting and I have one space in my pocket, I'll put the Xiaomi in there and not the One. But at the same time, sometimes I will go out shooting with the One if it's a specific kind of content I'm looking for. Like if I want to do cool free capture and turn my videos into Tiny Planets, this is probably going to be a better fast Tiny Planet editor. With the Xiaomi, it's going to be a longer workflow to make Tiny Planets. You'll still get an excellent result, you just have to do a little bit more.
Yeah, for me the workflow of the Insta360 ONE is way better than the workflow for the Xiaomi, because the Xiaomi has great optics and great sensor, but there are like tiny flaws, like the wavy effect, things like that, and you kind of have to like do little tricks to get around them. Insta360 ONE, it's basically it works well, like with a great workflow. You don't have to find those little tricks. It just works great. So I like the workflow of the Insta360 ONE better.
And one thing that's really cool about both Xiaomi and Insta360 is they have a team actively working on fixing the flaws, both for photo and video. Michael and I are on the Facebook groups all the time, telling the engineers what's wrong with them, what they need to fix, and they say, yes sir, yes sir, right away.
Like with other cameras, not 360 or otherwise, when you complain about something, immediately they think user error. Like, it's not our product, it's you. But with the Xiaomi and the Insta360, they've been so responsive, and they treat your complaint like seriously.
Almost like you're a member of the team.
Exactly, right. Yeah, and they'll address your problems right away. And Insta360 in particular, their customer service is fantastic. I mean, you go on their support group on Facebook, and you can sometimes end up in a conversation with J.K. Liu himself, the founder of Insta360. I mean, how many times can you say that when you can actually talk to the founder?
With the CEO of a major international camera company, who's actually talking to you one-on-one, and even sharing his own photos that he shot, and he's asking for feedback. That's really cool.
Yeah, and he's not just like a business guy, but he's also like an engineer. So he has brilliant solutions and ideas to talk to you about.
Yeah, absolutely. So with that said, I would strongly suggest anyone watching this video, if you do own or you're considering either of these cameras, look up the Facebook group because it's just such a good way to interact with that community and get a feel for the cameras and send feedback if you have any. But if you have any issues, that's the way to get it solved.
Yeah.
So this one, the Facebook group is, what's it called?
Media 360.
It's Xiaomi Media 360 cam and users.
No, you mean the short name? The short.
No, there's the Facebook.
Oh, the long name is, I think, is Xiaomi Media Users and Fans Group or something.
Yeah, so type that into the Facebook search bar.
Yeah, there'll be a link in the description.
Yeah, and then for Insta360, it's called Insta360 Community. So join those groups if you're interested in either camera to really get a feel for the community and what people are doing with those cameras. So we've both unanimously decided, can you believe this? The Xiaomi has won the second 2 of 3 awards.
Right.
So that's a pretty high accolade.
Really amazing.
Yeah.
So next category, 360 cameras between $300 up to around $1,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is the kind of for the next level up semi-professional shooter that does want to start taking their shooting seriously. They want really good 4K results from their video. They want impressive 360 photos, and you have a bit more money to spend. You know, you're more committed to 360, and you know you're going to use a camera for a while, and for reasons other than just taking happy snaps. So there is a whole new market there, which hasn't always been there, but at the rate this industry is growing, there's now lots of options. So why don't we start with photo camera, 300 to 1,000.
So for 300 up to 1,000, this category of this that price category introduces a new type of 360 camera, so to speak, that you guys might not be familiar with, and those are these two these two GoPro panoramic heads, and we're going to talk about that because with these panel heads for GoPro, you have number one, high resolution up to 65 megapixels. Number two, you have 0 parallax error. So those are really important characteristics, and those are among the 360 cameras that are on my shortlist for photo.
Yeah, so just to clarify, what happens is you put a GoPro into, this is called the Rogetti Pano 5+1 Mark II?
Yeah,
Mark II. And you take a raw photo, if you've got a GoPro Hero 5 Black or 6.
Hero 6 would also fit.
And then it swivels. It's got a base, it swivels, you take a photo, take a photo, take a photo, then you stitch it together in software like Panorama Studio, Hugin, or PT GUI, and then you take one or two, it's 2 at the zenith and 1 at the nadir?
Yeah, exactly. You remove this camera, put it there in this other position, sorry.
Does take a lot of fidgeting.
Now you've got the zenith, and then you have another accessory.
And then there's one that goes down.
2 shots that
and it goes around like that.
Right.
So I know you weren't expecting that because it's not really a 360 camera, but it's a way to get a super high resolution 360 photo for under $1,000. Nobody really knows about it.
Yeah, and it's also a way for me to increase the number of cameras that I have on my list.
Yeah, exactly. So you can rub it in my face even more. Thanks a lot. Asshole.
Yeah, so now the other one that's very similar to the Pano 5+1 is the Pano Hero. So unlike these two are very similar, they both use GoPros. The Pano Hero H5B is designed specifically for the Hero 5, but I believe it will also work for the Hero 6. But the difference is that you don't have to remove the camera. Once you've attached it, you simply rotate it.
Yeah.
You take it, rotate it, rotate it, rotate it, and then next you flip this over, rotate it again 4 times. And both of them take 8 shots, but you don't have to remove the camera with the Pano Hero.
I do like that.
So that's one advantage of the Pano Hero.
Yeah. Okay, so now we've talked about that. What about non-GoPro 360 photo cameras, $300 to $1,000?
Well, funny thing, we said 300 to 1,000, but in fairness, I think the Xiaomi is still a contender for that. Even though it is actually under 300, it competes with cameras that are in the 300 to 1,000 range for photo. What do you think, Ben?
Yeah, I think it does. I mean, look, there are a number of cameras in that price range that are worse than the Xiaomi. Not going to mention any names at all. I'm not going to. That shoot worse 360 photos than this one. Photos
right.
than the Xiaomi. I probably wouldn't put it in that same category because you can get next level results, especially with the GoPro. But what are our options? So the Theta V and the not the Theta S anymore, but the Theta V is definitely going to be a contender. That's the camera I've been using since I've been in the US for almost a week now. It's basically the only camera I've had in my pocket. So it's an excellent photo camera that's really portable. Unfortunately, they didn't up the resolution from the Theta S. A lot of people are disappointed. However, if you're shooting just for social media, I found that isn't really that much of an issue.
And because it's so portable, you can bring it everywhere with you. Whereas with something like this, you can't just bring it everywhere.
Exactly.
You'll need a case for that.
Yeah.
But the Theta will fit in your pocket, and that will open up opportunities for shooting. You'll be able to get creative shots, and so that's something that you can't overlook.
Yeah. So for me, I would say that the two finalists in this category will be the Theta V in the just over $400 price range, and then it would be the GoPro with the Rogetti or the Pano Hero. I've found a lot of frustrations with doing it this way, but if you are looking into virtual tours or something where you need like really high res, like think about it, 65 megapixels compared to on average like 15 to 20 of all these cameras. It's an excellent option.
Whole different level of quality.
Yeah, so this is essentially the middle of the ground between a consumer 360 camera and a DSLR with a nodal head where you point it in all directions. And still, the two things combined, the GoPro and the contraption you use to move the GoPro around, are going to cost no more than $600 or $700 max. So that's a really good option, but you need to have patience for post-production. I have zero patience. I hate editing, so that's why I haven't used this more. I really wanted to, honestly. It sounds amazing, right? 65 megapixel 360 photos.
The dynamic range is excellent.
Yeah, and you can shoot RAW as well with the GoPros. My issue with that is patience. I don't have it, which is why for me, just due to the workflow, I'm going to award the Theta V the best photo for 300 to 1,000. However, when my patience returns one day, this will be the winner.
Okay, and for me, I'm going to be cheating a little bit, and I'm going to still pick for this category 300 to 1,000. I will cheat and say Xiaomi, even though it's actually less than 300. For the image quality, I find that the best. Now, if you have the time because there are certain shots where it has to be spontaneous, like your kids are like blowing the birthday cake, something like that. I would pick this. Now, if
blowing candles on the birthday cake, they're not blowing the birthday cake. That's right. Not that kind of photo. No.
That's right. So now, if you're going to shoot something like a static scenery, like landscape, real estate, for that I would choose one of these, the Pano Hero or the Pano 5+1 Mark II. Very similar image quality. Between the two, I have a slight preference for the Pano Hero, just because you don't have to remove the camera. So yeah, those are my winners for this category.
All right, there you go.
Now let's move on to the third category. The probably most fascinating one. Now let's talk about 360 cameras from 300 up to 1,000. Now for video. this is a really cool category. Lots of very strong competition.
Yeah,
What do you
definitely.
think?
Yeah, and there's, because like the industry is growing so fast, there's more of those middle of the range cameras now. There just hasn't really been that middle of the range. It's either been consumer or professional, so it's exciting to see them. So 300 to 1,000 for video. For me, the one that's in front of me, the Garmin Verb, is an extremely strong contender. Now it can easily do 5.7K and it stitches within the Garmin Verb desktop software.
Right.
And what you guys saw from my Garmin Verb review on my YouTube channel is that I love the dynamic range and I love being able to shoot in flat mode and take full control of my colors. And I found this was the best 360 video camera when I compared it to the Xiaomi and the Gear 360. So for me, instantly, I'm putting my hands on this. The Garmin Verb, 300 to 1,000, but also the Theta V. I've had this for a few weeks now and it shoots exceptional 360 video. Something this has over the Verb is the stitching. Like, look at the difference there between where the lenses are. It's very hard to have stitching errors with this camera. I would say this has the best stitching of any 360 camera. Probably even better than the Xiaomi. So for me, and this, they both do spatial audio. So this is actually a very, very tough one. For me, I would probably give it to the Verb only because of that extra resolution, that 5.7K if you do want it. It'll be a really good camera for that. But again, it's just trade-offs. You're gonna get crappy photo with this camera and you get really good photo with this one, but you get high resolution video with this one than this one. Also, this one has stabilization. 6-axis stabilization is key to getting smooth handheld shots, whereas the Theta V only has basic, I think, 3-axis stabilization.
I don't know how many axes it is, but it doesn't correct as cleanly as the Verb or the Xiaomi or the Insta360 ONE.
Yeah.
So for me, my short list for this category for video, Theta V, Garmin Verb, and again, still Xiaomi. It wouldn't be like.
He's adding this to every category.
I know.
Like, worst camera, Xiaomi. Like.
the default answer Xiaomi, right? Yeah. They've sponsored me. No, I'm kidding. No, they haven't. Though it seems that way. So what I like from the Theta V, besides the really crisp video, is the spatial audio. It's really amazing. And although the Verb also has spatial audio, I haven't found the sound localization to be as good as that of the Theta V.
The V is exceptional for audio.
Yeah,
like the best I've heard.
audio, exactly.
Yeah.
Not only does it have great in-camera audio, but also it has a mic jack where you can connect either an external microphone of your choice or the special TA1 accessory that will record spatial audio that to me sounds like pro-grade, spatial audio. And the Verb, what I like about it is the detail. Now, in terms of like the dynamic range, I don't know. I'm kind of like split on that because with the highlight range of the Verb, I'm impressed with. Shadow range, a little bit less impressed with. The Theta V I found had like pretty good shadow range as well. So these are really closer to me than what the specs would suggest. Yeah.
And can I ask, is there a reason you haven't mentioned either of these two cameras?
All right, so this is the Nikon Key Mission, and this is the Orbit 360. So the Key Mission, gets a lot of flack from people, and even though I wouldn't say it's one of my finalists, I actually use this from time to time because it has in-camera stitching at 4K. The problem is the sharpness drops off rapidly as you go anywhere after like around 45 degrees from the center. It's going to start looking seriously blurry. And as for the Orbit 360, it's actually a really good camera for sharpness and dynamic range, but again, where it misses is the stitch line, and there's a very noticeable stitch line because the sharpness just dives. when you get near the stitch line. Besides the fact that it's kind of, you know, like one lens is smaller than the other, so that makes it a little bit harder to make it invisible. But it is worth looking at, I think, you know. And if you're like shooting like over capture or free capture style videos where you're converting the 360 to non-360, this is something to seriously consider, because its front lens has a very high pixel density, higher than most of these 360 cameras. Yeah.
But it's not going to make your short list.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
If it cost lower, it might.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Yeah, I think it would be a great camera if it was in the previous price bracket.
Yeah.
But in the 300 to 300
that's a
plus,
tough-
it's got a lot of competitors.
yeah, a lot of like really tough competition. It's hard to rise above that.
Yeah. So who's your winner?
If I had to pick, gosh, you know, if we just talk about image quality, I would say Verb, but with the Theta V a really, really, really close second. Okay, and if it's something where audio is important, like you're in a concert or you want like you're in a marketplace, you want to hear the ambient sounds, I would choose the Theta V over the Verb. You know, but because of stabilization, I would choose the Verb or Xiaomi.
Yep.
Yeah.
Good choices. So for me, I'm going to keep the Xiaomi back in the previous category, and these are my two finalists as well. And to me, they're super even. They are in different price brackets within that larger bracket.
True. Yeah.
For me, this is the winner for social media because it's very easy to use. The workflow is really just simple, and it's easier to transport. And there's many benefits to the Theta V. So this is something I'd absolutely shoot all of my social media content with for both photo and video. And I know it's just going to deliver an excellent result. Ricoh are quality, and this is a very quality camera. However, if I'm considering doing something professional, so if I was doing shoots for clients, I would choose the Verb. I just love the dynamic range of it. Having that extra resolution is a really good thing. There's so many good features. I love the interface of it. It has the best display of buttons. I love the menu. It's very easy to navigate. And you know what else I love is the lenses. I broke one of my lenses. If you saw my Garmin Verb review, I did something stupid. I left it on a light stand, and it fell over and the lens smashed. You saw the video.
Anyone could have seen that coming.
Yeah, anyone that's not an idiot would have seen it coming, which was where I had bad luck. But that saved my Garmin Verb. I had a not so smart day, right? And if I had the Theta V on the light stand, I would have to buy a new Theta V. Whereas I didn't have to buy a new Garmin Verb. I was able to replace the lens. I ordered 2 new lenses for $50, and they were in my mailbox maybe 5 days later. So for professional shoots, if you do have around $700 and your focus is video and potentially shooting for clients, then the Garmin Verb is my winner.
Now, special note, there's a camera we didn't mention in this category, and that's the Yi 360 VR. And the only reason we didn't mention it is because it's not yet out. So I just want to clarify that when even though we're showing it here, it's not actually included in this category yet. So that please keep that as a footnote.
Yeah, but stay tuned because we will release content with it really soon.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
And you can check out my sample 360 video with the Yi 360 VR, and I'll where I talk about why I love it. Now, for 360 cameras over $1,000. Now, what do you think? There's another one too.
So nice to touch. I've never touched an Insta360 Pro. I've never owned one, never touched one, so that might have already happened. I just wanted to keep quiet. I didn't want to weird you out, but since you brought it up, then it's your fault.
All right. So this is really short because they're not like that many cameras that I have that are in this price range.
Yeah.
But for over $1,000, best 360 photo it's pretty simple. You got these two choices. I would say I prefer the Panono for resolution and dynamic range. But if you are into 3D 360, then this is pretty much your only choice, Insta360 Pro, because even the views doesn't take 3D 360 photos yet. It only takes frame grabs, and that's gonna be like 4K.
Yeah.
So not really high enough resolution. So what about you, Ben?
Yeah, well, I actually don't own any super expensive 360 cameras. Like I said, I haven't touched the Pro yet. I don't own a Panono, and there are a number of other cameras that we can't include in this video because I'm Pole, man, I'm Pole. Like the Zcam and the Kandao.
And they don't send us those those high end cameras. We're not worthy.
Yeah, no, we're just
we're
lowly
just not
peasants.
worthy. Yeah.
But some of these cameras, right, they're retailing for $6,000 to anywhere up to like $50,000 for Nokia Ozo. Oh, and by the way,
it's 25,000.
Oh, now it's 25. Nice.
Yeah, because they're discontinued.
Yeah, I just heard this morning it was discontinued.
Yeah.
So bye bye
I heard it from
Ozo.
this site called 360 Rumors.
Really? Oh, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, never heard of it either.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you think it's because of this?
I've wondered about that, and I think it's just more about the VR market.
Yeah.
But we can talk about that next time.
Yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
So I don't have any real personal experience, so I can't really declare a winner. However, I can tell you some of the contenders that I've heard excellent things about, and that's the Insta360 Pro for both photo and video. What's the photo resolution this can do now?
It's currently 8K, and that's either in 2D or 3D. So if it's 3D, it's 8K by 8K. Or supposedly, Insta360 is working on an update that will increase the resolution by 4 times to 15K.
Yeah.
15K.
That's for photos.
Yeah, photos.
Yeah.
Yes, amazing, right? And they're doing it, all for free.
Yeah.
So others that I think the Zcam S1 should be on your short list.
Yeah, definitely.
The image quality is really good. Where the Insta360 Pro and the Zcam would differs, I think, in workflow and features. Insta360 Pro workflow is the absolute best. It's so easy to use, easier than some 360 cameras for consumers. In fact.
Yeah. So you guys know us more for working with the consumer 360 cameras, so we won't talk about it too much because I know you guys probably don't know or care about these cameras. I will suggest you check out Hugh Hu from Creator Up. Look him up on YouTube because he deals a lot with cameras like the Zcam, the Kandao Obsidian, the Insta360 Pro. He's an expert. He knows so much more than me.
Or me.
Yeah, and he's an excellent.
Actually, like shooting experience.
Yeah,
I'm just a reviewer.
Yeah, same here. But he's actually out actively using these really high-end, like $10,000 360 cameras. So if you're into the more advanced cameras and you are working professionally within 360 and VR, definitely check him out because he can give you a more in-depth analysis of those cameras. We'll try and cover them as best we can, but these are the cameras that excite us. So I can't really award a winner other than the Insta360 Pro because I've seen so many samples that impressed me. So for me, I'm going to award it to this, but that's only because I haven't really used any of them.
Yeah, so I guess this segment is more like, just talking about the 360 cameras in that category.
Yeah, the next
to the
bracket
extent
up.
we haven't really tested the others, like the Kandao Obsidian or anything, we can't say this is better than that one, but this is really good.
Yeah.
And this is super awesome for 360 photos.
Okay, so I know the question you guys are all asking is which is our personal favorite? Forget about the categories.
Okay.
Which is our personal favorite? What's our number one go-to camera of all of these? Let's say regardless of the price, but just for general usability, if we're going out and about in our day, will we put an Insta360 Pro in our pocket, mount it to our head, or is there another camera we choose? What's your go-to camera? What are you using the most?
The one that I use the most is still, as of now, the Xiaomi Mi Sphere. And the reason, for example, I don't use the Verb, for example, is because I like to shoot with the 360 camera like in an invisible flying camera style, or what GoPro has recently called the angel view. And for that kind of shooting style, the Xiaomi has the cleanest output. The Insta360 ONE would also do great for that. With the Verb, there's kind of like a a horizontal line. They've improved it a bit with the recent firmware update, but that's the reason I don't shoot with a Verb for that. Yeah, so my absolute personal favorite because of the photo and video quality for something I would use almost every day would be still the Xiaomi.
Yeah, nice. For me, I can't pick one, but I can pick two. And those are Xiaomi as well. I love it. It's just an excellent, excellent versatile camera for both photo and video. I barely have any complaints about this thing. Yes, I absolutely do have complaints, but for $200 to $300, this is just such a good camera to have on you, and like you can take risks with it. Like I took one of mine swimming, and like I didn't even care. I knew it was going to die. But that, for me, that's actually another factor, is you need to be confident you can go out with the camera knowing there's a possibility of it breaking, and there's just no way you go out with this.
Kind of scary.
Yeah, and take risks.
Like Hugh Ho, who Ben mentioned a while ago, he was mentioning to me that he brought his to an area with lots of like drug cartels, and he was nearly kidnapped. So I mean, I'm not sure if your shooting is worth that. I mean, but this one, you're not going to get kidnapped with that.
Yeah, exactly.
They might donate money to you.
Yeah, that's it. So for me, this is definitely one. The second one is the Theta V. For the reasons I mentioned, this is a great camera for Instagram. I've been using it for a few weeks now, exclusively for my Instagram content. It's just a great workflow. The app is really good. What I love about this is the lightning fast transfer speeds. It goes so fast now, literally 10 times faster than the Theta S. So it's a really good workflow.
Or it's faster than the Xiaomi for that matter. And the workflow of the Theta V is like way better. I love the Theta V as well. The only thing is, if I use the Theta V, I would use it with a gimbal, because the stabilization is, falls short of what I need it to be. But in terms of like the video quality, is actually higher than the Xiaomi.
Yes. Yeah. So for me, it's both of these. And one thing I'll also point out about these two, and the reason I picked them, is because I can fit them both in my pocket. They both have that
without
extreme.
Looking like a pervert.
Exactly, and that's the number one thing I look for in a 360 camera. So if you see how thin they are, right?
Disguise that.
Yeah.
The pervert
I try my best. It doesn't always work, but cameras like this help.
Women still run away.
They do help. Well, so these are my two, because of the thinness. Like, it's just excellent. Not having it too intrusive to like movability. So yeah, I like them evenly. Like I said, I mean, they're both good for social media. I'd use them both for different things. This is for more handheld video, and this is more for photo and video on a tripod. So yeah, these are my two personal faves.
Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you found this video helpful. Please check out Life in 360's YouTube channel. You can't miss it. If you are all into 360, you have to subscribe to his channel. And of course, if you subscribe to his channel, you have to subscribe to mine as well. Mine's
better, I will come find you.
Mine's youtube.com/360rumors.com. I can't promise that you're gonna win any of these 360 cameras.
But I can. You can win Michael's Insta360 Pro if you
paid for by Ben.
If you subscribe to my channel, you can win his Insta360 Pro.
There you go, with like small footnote about taxes and everything. Yeah.
Cool, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. Leave any comments in the box below. If you have any questions about any of these cameras, definitely subscribe. We're on Facebook as well, and Instagram, 360 Rumors, Life in 360. On Instagram, he's 360 Rumors blog.
No, that's my Twitter.
360 Rumors blog.
But on Instagram, it's just 360 Rumors. Just 360 Rumors, actually.
Okay. Instagram, I'm at Ben Claremont. So check us out there if you want to see the practical application of all of these cameras. We're not going to include samples in this video, but you can see them all across our YouTube channels, Facebook, Instagram, and sometimes Twitter, but not really. Yeah, and just to give you guys a preview, very soon, if I find the time to be able to finish it, I'm trying to finish my ultimate 360 camera comparison tool, where you can be able to pick and choose any two of these, compare them for photos and videos, and so you can have all the
pixel peeping fun that you're gonna have.
Yeah, sounds good. Can't wait.
All right. Cool.
All right, guys. Until next time, keep capturing your world in 360. This has been Life in 360 Rumors, and we will see you next year.
All right. See you guys.